Hello and welcome to Macanori, where I'm reading to you from the Headhunter, which is volume 1 in my Ellie Lawrence supernatural crime thriller series. And we're up to chapter 8. And Ellie has had her call with Sean. She's feeling reinforced. You know, he's always been there for her to give her the advice that she needs. So she decides to venture out of the house. And in this chapter, she's going to meet somebody who rapidly becomes a fan favourite. So I hope you're sitting comfortably. After her call with Sean, Ellie sat for a while, staring out of the window into her newly tended garden. She watched as the bees went about their business, pollinating the flowers so life could go on. Life goes on. The thought settled in Ellie's mind and she closed her eyes, pushing aside the wave of sadness at the thought of moving on from Luca, but she had to. No time like the present, she announced, jumping up off the sofa and heading for the front door. Some fresh air might be just what she needed. Ellie walked, her face angled towards the sun, allowing the warmth to suffuse her with hope. She'd never been good at holidays, as she found it difficult to relax, but she knew Sean had a point. By letting go of the worry, the sadness and the pain, perhaps a fresh path would open up for her. And where better to start than with a yummy mocha, she thought, deciding to cut through Scotsford Park on her way into town. As she approached the park, Ellie saw people streaming in and out, those going in being alone, but those coming out were mostly with an animal. "What's going on here?" she asked a young couple, each carrying a cat carrier with a rather vocal inhabitant. "Oh, it's the Scotsford Rehome pet rally," the woman said, laughing. "We only intended going for a look, but, you know." She shrugged as she held up the carrier and Ellie came face to face with a black cat. It hunkered down in its box, ears flat against its head and eyes wide as it hissed at her. "I just hope they settle down when we get them home," the man said as the cat he was carrying emitted a threatening wail. "Oh, they will, believe me," Ellie said. As predicted, as soon as the couple put some distance between themselves and Ellie, their feline charges quietened down. Ellie hurried through the park, thoughts of a coffee abandoned as another idea took root. As she passed the playground, Ellie could hear the barking. Soon enough, she saw hordes of people milling around the cages they'd placed strategically around the circle, the place where the fair always set up camp. It amazed Ellie how there could be so many unwanted pets when clearly there were masses of people willing to give them homes. She headed for the section marked dogs, as she didn't want the cats to put off any would-be new owners by her presence. She smiled at the grins on people's faces and the wagging tails on their canine counterparts. Every cage had an audience, every cage that was, except one. Curious why, Ellie made a beeline for an enormous cage set apart from the others. No sound greeted her. Instead, as Ellie approached, only doleful eyes met hers. "Hey, handsome, why so lonesome?" she murmured as she lay down on the grass in front of the cage, her nose inches from the one inside. The dog watched her, but didn't move, its eyebrows raised in question. "What's your name, then?" she asked, pushing onto her elbows to read the card attached to the cage door. Husky Cross, estimated to be 4 years old, found chained to a post in a bad way after presumably being dumped by his owner. He was badly wounded, the vet suspecting other dogs had attacked him and he'd been unable to escape or defend himself. Requires a lot of exercise and a home where he can receive all the love he deserves. We didn't know his name, but have christened him Loki, because he has a keen sense of mischief, even though he may not seem so. "Well, hello, Loki, my name's Ellie." Ellie reached her finger through the cage and stroked Loki's nose. He grumbled and cocked his head to one side, revealing a torn and tatty left ear. He sniffed Ellie's finger before proceeding to lick her, his bushy black and cream tail quivering in hope. "I think you just need to be with someone who understands you, don't you, boy?" Loki whined in response, finally lifting his head. His right ear stood to attention, while his left one hung limply. "On your feet, then. Let's go make some mischief together," Ellie said, jumping up. Loki followed suit and barked. Ellie burst out laughing, her heart feeling lighter for the first time since leaving Brecon. There's a nice little light-hearted chapter for you with Ellie making a fan favourite with Loki. I'll see you next week. Okay, bye-bye.